Hello, welcome back to PlayStation Access. My name is Dave, and today I'm going to be telling Nath.
Hello.
Do you see how I did that, Nath?
That was good.
7 reasons why you need to play The Surge 2.
7.
And to be honest, loads more besides. I went to Germany recently to visit Deck 13, who are developing The Surge 2.
I noticed you weren't here.
That's nice. And I got a whole day to play the game, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I had a fantastic time. I'm very excited to tell you reasons why you need to play it this time around. Okay. Nath, I know that you know what The Surge was.
Yeah.
But in case people don't, we should explain that it's a kind of... I'm going to have to say it, it's Soulslike.
People don't like it, Dave. You have to say hardcore action RPG.
Sorry, it's a hardcore action RPG, similar to other games, set in a sort of technological future world where humans have become integrated with technology, and maybe that's not a good thing.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad. That was the first game. It was set in a kind of factory setting. This time around, we're in a city. I'm going to come on to that, but something to say about this video is it's not all going to be new stuff necessarily. This isn't just new features that are in the game this time around. There will be a lot of new features, but also it's just features that I think are great that have maybe been improved upon or something like that.
I think that's fair enough, Dave, because I'm not sure that, not everyone will have even played the first Surge.
Exactly. And the developers are fully aware of that, and they're, hoping that more people will play this one this time around, I think. And I think you should, hence this video.
Can I just say one quick thing? Because I played quite a bit of the Surge one.
Go for it.
About 10 hours or so. And I enjoyed it, and I'm really, really glad. I think it's the kind of game that really benefits from getting a sequel.
Yes.
Because it was like, oh, this is interesting.
Definitely.
Smaller team, interesting idea, and now...
Here we are.
And then when you came back and said it was brilliant, I was like, I totally get that.
And they've taken on board a lot of fan feedback. That was the big thing I kind of took away from my visit. But let me tell you about The Surge 2 then. So the first reason you need to play it is because the combat is so deep.
Okay.
And all about choices. Now, just like the Surge... it's kind of big selling point is that you choose specific limbs to attack.
Yes.
So unarmored limbs here in blue, as you will see I'm attacking on this big man, they will receive more damage, so your enemy will go down quicker. Armored limbs in orange will, if severed, will grant you kind of crafting materials or schematics for new upgrades or new armor, stuff like that.
So it's like risk-reward element.
So that's the kind of risk-reward. This time around, if you want to sever a limb, you have to, first of all, do some damage to it, as in the first game, but it will take an entire battery charge to sever that limb. Okay. Now this is important because before there was an energy meter that you kind of built up, and you had to build it up enough to then be able to sever a limb. Yeah. Now it's like a battery charge, and it's interesting because the battery from the start of the game now is also used to power your health regen. Okay. So you'll see at the bottom those bars, the blue bar, that's my battery. It's being built up as I do damage to this guy.
Sure.
And it's also then being depleted as I use it to regen my health.
Oh, that's an interesting mechanic.
So now this did exist in the first game as an optional implant that you could use, and it's an optional implant this time around as well, but it's right from the start of the game this time. You have it implanted from the beginning.
I see.
So the balance, the trade-off is, do I want to get a good bit of gear from this guy by severing a limb, or do I need to use that battery charge to go into my health because I'm going to die?
Right.
So you can also bank charges as well, so you might want to save them for the next encounter, that kind of thing.
Right, I was going to ask, because does that mean it's actually very difficult to build up enough charge to do a limb severing?
No, not at all. I mean, maybe against a really difficult boss.
Right.
And I can see that that's going to be a thing, is people thinking, I really want that bit of that weapon, I really want that bit of armor, like whatever.
Little challenge for yourself.
So, and then falling foul of not regenerating their health, something like that.
Sure.
I found it's a really fun mechanic that you balance throughout as you play. You really think about it, and it's really, really smart. We've moved on to the second part of combat, which I love. This is brand new, and it's directional blocking.
Right. So, I saw like a little parry or something.
Yes, so that's exactly what it is. So blocking is still there. You can just press L1 and you will block all attacks.
Okay.
Which costs stamina. But if you do a directional block, as you will see me doing quite well here a couple of times, then you will stagger your enemy and give yourself a big opening to go after.
How do you do that?
So you just, it's again, holding L1 you will just block all the time, but then you will move the right stick in the direction. So you will notice in that last encounter, I had an on-screen prompt telling me which direction the attack was coming from.
Okay.
That's an implant that I had implanted, no less.
Right.
This guy, I love that implant. This enemy, I didn't have that implant, and I really struggled. So I think
can you still do the?
You can still do the blocks, but you have to read the animation. So pro players are going to learn those animations and not have that implanted.
They're going to use that slot for something else.
And use that slot for something else. You can see this is me like going to find it. I was like, where's my...
Right.
The developer had played with my
up.
character and had unplugged it. And I was like, where's that? I love that.
Right.
So directional blocking, it's new. It's really, really powerful. And I think, I really like how pro players are gonna not have to use the implant. But I did use the implant. Sure. And it's a great way of learning the mechanic, to be fair. Learning the timings.
Right,
What we're looking at now is when you die in the Surge 2, you drop all your tech scrap, which is kind of a currency that you're collecting.
Yeah.
As in the first game, you have an amount of time to go and get it. You can see that amount of time in the top left corner. And as you kill people, that time goes up. You get a time boost.
Oh,
which was the same in the first game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I know that there's a bonus if you can get that number over 5 minutes. So if you can kill enough people to push that number up, you will get some kind of bonus. But what I wanted to show here is there is my tech scrap, my dead body, that little green area, and it's providing me with a health buff. So whilst I don't pick it up and I'm in the area, my health is getting buffed against this slightly tougher enemy.
Because sometimes you do, well, obviously there's a high chance that you've dropped all your stuff next to a mean enemy.
Exactly.
And you might have to fight them again to get it back.
And it's when I pick it up, it will fully regen my health as well. So you've got that against a tough enemy. And it's that risk reward again. It's like, well, if I pick it up right at the start of the fight, I've lost that opportunity to use it. But then if there's loads of tech scrap in there, I want that. So I like the risk reward. We have moved on to point number 2 of the 7 reasons.
Okay.
Character creation. So the first game, the Surge you played as Warren, there was no character creation.
It was not.
It was Warren's story.
It was.
I think fans really wanted this feature from what the developers were saying. I know, sorry,
Maybe
Warren.
I'll make Warren.
You could do that, maybe. Actually, you can't do that because Warren is in the Surge 2.
I didn't know that.
That's right.
Sorry,
I don't know any more details than that.
I've derailed you talking about character.
I mean, character customization speaks for itself. I enjoy that there's a little bit of backstory for each character as to why they were on the plane from the start of the game. You can see what's the kind of options, the customization options. I made this lady. She's a no-nonsense business lady who's going to find out real good how to use melee weapons.
That backstory's in the game or is in your mind?
Oh, that bit was in my mind.
Okay.
But she is a business lady. That's her backstory. And I love that this is just a little aside. The opening weapons are these 2 defibrillators.
Oh.
That's what you start off using in the game. So number 3, we've moved on quickly to number 3.
Yes.
I think this is massive. Choices are fluid and not necessarily permanent. I want you to look at the triangle prompt on this screen because that's what I will be talking about. This is me leveling up. This is me adding attribute points as I see fit. Yeah. The important thing is at any point, if you can spend 500 tech scrap, which is not a lot, you can redistribute those points as you see fit.
So you can remake your build if you're not liking the way it's going?
Anytime. So you come across an enemy that you're really struggling against, a boss, give yourself more health, give yourself more stamina, give yourself more battery efficiency, like whatever it is, you can do that at any time. All you have to do is visit a med bay and spend 500 tech scrap. So they really want you to do this. Talking of fluid choice, this is in the middle of a boss battle. This is the developer just changing around the implants on the fly. Okay. So in the first game, for most of the implants, you had to go
just ripping things out of your head.
I know. Just hang on a sec.
Maybe there's a circuit board on the base of your neck.
Maybe. I'm not exactly sure of the lore, but yeah, mid-boss battle, you can now be like. I think this is where my directional blocking implant went. The developer during the boss battle was like, "Where's my favourite things?" Yeah. So they said that they don't want you to ever face an A/B choice in terms of character build that you can't back out of, and which I really liked as someone who struggles making choices.
Sure, no, that's true.
And I hate the idea, in the first game you had to choose a rig right away. Were you going to be kind of like a tanky player or an agile player, and I think it's a difficult decision to make at the start of the game. You don't have to make that decision anymore, which I think is great.
Good.
We've moved on
Yes.
to point number 4, which is boss battles have been overhauled. This is not a boss. This is just some footage
This is just Steve.
of me not being terrible whilst I talk about boss battles. So boss battles are now woven into the story and into the world, which I think is a nice touch. They said before they kind of come out of nowhere. You wouldn't know what they were or why they were there.
Yeah.
People didn't like that so much.
Right.
So now you will hear about them from NPCs. You'll kind of grow to fear them and be able to prepare for them a bit better. You shouldn't ever be taken off guard by a boss appearance.
You know that you're going to know they're coming.
You know they're coming, exactly.
Anticipation.
And they never want you to hit a brick wall. I think they've thought long and hard about boss battles. As we were saying, I mean, now you can redistribute your points as you see fit.
Sure.
But there should always be some different approach that you can take. You know, trying a different weapon. There are many new weapons in this game, and they offer a whole new load of movesets. You know, trying a different armor set. As a little bonus point, there are armor sets now. There are bonuses for armor sets.
Okay.
So
you collect lots of all of the same item.
Exactly, and partial sets. So if you wear half a full set, you will get a buff for that. They want you to be revisiting the world to find out, you know, to find specific like drones or implants to help you with bosses. So they've thought really hard about the boss battles
That's cool.
and how to make them fair and fun and interesting. It's worth pointing out that there is always a perfect way to kill the boss, which means like minimum effort, maximum effectiveness. But they but you don't need to find it.
Imperfect styles are available.
Exactly. I mentioned drones now.
Yes, you did.
This point, number 5, I think, is just drones are now useful.
Okay, cool.
I didn't play a lot of the Surge, to be honest, but my drone was not useful. As I recall, it did 1 damage, and it was kind of useful for drawing, you know, for pulling enemies.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah.
Drones are really useful now. You can see this is a selection from, I think, fairly early in the game. There's quite a few, and they have many, many different, you know, powers. There's a sniper drone, for example. There's like an assault rifle drone. There's an EMP drone, a Molotov drone.
That drone looks cool as well if you've drawn on him.
I didn't do that, but it does look cool. This is me finding out kind of by accident that these guys who cloak, I can I use my EMP drone to find them out. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So they want drones to be used not just for combat, but in puzzle solving, like a bit like that. This is using that starfish drone to open up a new path.
Wait, is this character based on you, Dave? It's the first time I've seen him turned around.
No, this is a woman that the developers built. Okay. So maybe they built her based on me.
Right.
She has got some pretty cool glasses. You know, drones can also target specific body parts, and they also require ammo this time around, which they didn't. So it's another resource to manage. But I've got to scoot on to point number 6.
Yes.
There's an entire city to explore, which I did touch on earlier. This is Jericho City. That is I think kind of like a sea park.
I've talked over the name of the city.
Jericho City.
Jericho City.
So fans wanted more freedom. They wanted more varied environments, more to explore.
Look what you've done.
And the developers felt like a city was a good place for this to happen.
Yeah.
You've already seen kind of like parkland and, we've seen inside of buildings and things like that. People understand cities. This is a look at the map. People understand cities. They kind of, understand how they work and what to expect from them and the limits of them. So they would like, a city seems like the way to go, and it's obviously very heavily woven into the story. It adds a lot of verticality, so you go right down into the sewers, things like that. You're going to be revisiting areas quite a lot. I did mention, that drone that unlocked a path. They want you to be going back to different areas, and there's a lot of things that will unlock paths like this, this force hook, which enables you to traverse down those kind of ropes. But there's an upgrade to that, which allows you to go up them as well.
Gotcha.
So there's lots of ways that they're kind of blocking off paths that you'll be revisiting, and then unlocking new areas, finding new items, things like that. They also have added in quests which you can fail, which is what I thought was interesting about this.
Sure.
So this is me meeting Benjamin Burke right at the start of the game and getting the quest to let him out. I really did mean to let him out, but here's me leaving the police station having not let him out,
and that's it.
And getting the notification quest failed.
Yeah. Benjamin is dead.
This will have some impact on on the game. It depends on each story, but I'm probably not going to see Benjamin again, or maybe he's going to be stuck in there. I'm not sure, but it will affect the world. It will affect the story, things like that, to varying degrees.
I see.
We've romped ahead to 7. This is point number 7. The last reason. This is massive. This is all completely new.
Arrows.
Asynchronous multiplayer.
Oh, I thought it was just arrows.
Here. I think this was quite heavily asked for by fans. It's here.
Right.
Starting with arrows, but more specifically graffiti.
Right.
So this is leaving messages for other players. As we have seen in other games, it's a popular kind of a feature.
Yes.
I really like that they've made this make sense in world. You know, they're in a city, a kind of broken down city with lots of factions and things. Graffiti makes sense.
Doesn't have gold writing on the
The
floor.
exciting thing about this as well, to me, is that it's not words. It's not using a selection of words. It's using a selection of symbols and colours. And so I just think that, I don't know what I've made there, what it means, but nobody knows.
As a generation of people who are now trying to make messages only from emojis, I think this is cool.
Exactly. I think it's going to have a massive meta, like people figuring, working out or coming up with rules for what the colours mean and, little...
that will just happen.
Stuff like that. Exactly. That stuff's going to happen, which I think is really, really exciting.
That's cool.
You can rate messages as well. I guess encouraging people to leave good ones, but, who knows. We're looking at another bit of the asynchronous multiplayer here. This is the banner drone. So, I mean, if you can read that text, you can see what I'm going to say here.
Sure.
It's a kind of a feature whereby you can drop a banner in a place that you think is going to be kind of hard to find. The longer that no one else finds this banner,
so it's going to appear in other people's games.
It will appear in other people's games. The longer that they don't find it, the higher a reward you get.
Oh, that's cool.
And if they do find it, they get a reward. So that's a cool thing. Cool. This is a dead player who leaves behind a battery charge. It's just a nice little thing to show you, I guess that someone died here. Maybe there's something dangerous here.
Right.
Kind of a bit of a warning. It's just it's one of those nice things for letting you, these games can sometimes be quite lonely, and I like this kind of thing because it makes me feel less alone.
Other people are playing at the same time.
If someone has died, they might leave behind a revenge enemy, like this one, which is unfortunately a harder version of an enemy that has killed a player. So, but the good thing about them is that you get some lovely loot at the end.
Do you actually, or do you die?
Well, Nath, judging by how long's left to go on this video and how much damage I've done so far, I don't think it would be a spoiler to say that I don't do too well.
Oh no!
But that's my 7 reasons.
They're good reasons.
I hope so. Like I've pored over this video because there's loads and loads to say, and I've tried really hard to sort of cram it all in. The Surge 2, I just think the developers should be commended for the amount that they've taken on board from their fans, the feedback that they got.
Yeah.
They have stuck with their franchise, and I think they've made massive improvements. Like I honestly sat down for an entire day playing this game, learning, getting better, finding stuff out. It's a game that the developers have hidden quite a lot of good stuff in there for you to find, and I really like that, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm genuinely really excited for you in particular to play it because I think you'll like it.
It's my kind of game.
Good.
Like those other games.
That's what I thought.
And I like I said, I did enjoy the first one, and the stuff that you have. I think that at this point, when people are making kind of variations on the hardcore action RPG, the stuff that really can make a difference is like different approaches to, like you said, the risk reward stuff. How you use might not be stamina, but in this case, like the battery packs and how you deploy them, and the stuff with the fluidity. Like you said, I think that there is something in these games where, like you said, committing to things can be daunting, especially because it can take you quite a while to understand how the systems of the game work, and then you realise you've maybe made decisions you didn't want to. So I like maybe slightly more approachable, but without losing any of the kind of challenging aspect. I'm in.
Good, you should be. I think it's really fun, and it's a game massively about balance, massively about trade-offs, and uncovering those. It like you just alluded to, really. It's fun because if you discover, oh no, I've made my character completely wrong in my opinion, you can change it. You don't have to start again, and that's that's hugely helpful, I think, to particularly new players of this genre.
Sure.
So yeah, that's my 7 reasons. Hopefully you agree with all my reasons. It's a really, really exciting game. I just want everyone to play it, and you can play it on the 24th of September when it is released. I will be playing it, and I will be trying to get Nathan to play it too. Please do comment if you enjoyed this video, and like if you enjoyed this video. I'm expecting comments and likes then. And do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything else from the world of PlayStation.
For the players.